Yeah, yeah. आओ मैं बताऊं तुम्हें राज की बात, तुम्हारे हाथ एक खजाना लगे रातों रात। कहानी नहीं लड़के अब तो ये हकीकत बन गई है, पढ़ना लिखना अब आसान, दुनिया आगे बढ़ रही है। तो इंतजार कैसा, अपना मकसद तुझे याद, दुनिया का हर एक जवाब जैसे रखा तेरे हाथ पर। बदलो अब अंदाज थोड़ा, बदलो ये पुरानी रीत, आगे दुनिया से रहना है, पक्की है तुम्हारी जीत। मकसद है तुम्हारा के कुछ बन के ही दिखाना है, मकसद है हमारा सारी दुनिया को सिखाना है। अब रहा ना दौर वो, अब नया दौर आना है, दुनिया को बता दो अब ये मकसद का जमाना है।
ये दौर है तुम्हारा, मकसद है तुम्हारा, उठे कलम लिखे वक्त जैसे सब है तुम्हारा। एक वक्त एक आवाज देखे सब खोले राज, बदलेगा इतिहास, नया दौर नई साज। कोई भी सवाल हो जवाब मेरे पास, कामयाबी की खुली हुई किताब मेरे पास। चाहे कोई भी हो मसला, कोई भी हो बात, रखा एक एक चीज का हिसाब मेरे पास। खान on the beat, hey.
Hi guys, a warm welcome to Maqsad. My name is Zafar Sahab and I'm your English instructor here. I hope you would all be fit and fine. But as this is your first appearance on this platform, I guess few of you must be excited and few of you indifferent and of course few of you having butterflies in your stomach. But whatever you're feeling be, this is quite natural. And these are all human traits. And you know what? Here, you are not going to get lots of what you may call it. Uh, you are not, as you know, now we are going to here. Here. Now we are back. So I was telling you that whatever your situation is, you are going to get used to it. Now, here, let's get back to our study. And you know what? Here, there is a heading IBA LUMS entry test prep. And you know what? This is a very special task. And every special task takes lots of efforts. And you know what? When you get to the please. Good. Here on your screen, there is a heading IBA LUMS entry test prep. This is very special task. And you know what? Every special task requires special efforts. If you put your sincere efforts behind, you are going to get through to your task. And once you make your way to your university, your dream university rather, and pass out from there, let me tell you this, you won't need job. Job will need you. So let's go to the next slide. Secret sauce for trying. This is secret. Do not let the cat out of the bag. I'm going to open a Pandora box. I'm going to tell you how you can crack that test. There are three elements, and you need to get all these three elements together at the time of your test. First, above average vocabulary. That is very important. And vocabulary is heavily involved in every question type. And I believe that vocabulary is dress of language. Whatever language you speak, it doesn't matter. Vocabulary plays a vital role. And now, at number 2, having proficiency in reading comprehension. Why I lay so much emphasis on reading comprehension? Because if you look at past IBA LUMS test papers, you are going to find reading comprehension having more volumes than any other components. And so this is justifiably secret of cracking your IBA LUMS test. Last but not the least, presence of mind. At the time of your test, you have to get your presence of mind going. And once your chain of thoughts break, it's very difficult to come back. Sometimes it takes time, and sometimes we miserably fail to get back with the same rhythm. So time takes, and then you are going to have nothing but regret at the end of the day. So you have to keep all these three irons together. Once you manage these three irons together, I bet you are going to get through to your task. So, having come to know the secret sauce for triumph, we are going to move down to our next slide, that is diagnostic test. Diagnostic test carries 30 questions, rather 30 MCQs. The same number of score, and of course the same number of minutes you are going to go through. And you know what? Diagnostic test is something which determines your standing exactly. You come to know your strength and of course your weaknesses. And once you come to know your forte and your deficiencies, things will become easier to deal with. And there is a yardstick to determine your standing. When you appear in diagnostic test and you obtain 25 or above, you may sense victory. And if you fall from 20 to 24, you may have certain areas to cover. And if you secure from 15 to 19, I must say you have to work even hard. And if you get anything less than 50, that makes you burning midnight oil. And burning midnight oil means you have to sacrifice so many sleepless nights. But whatever your standing is, Maqsad is here to prepare you fully. So once you determine your forte and your deficiencies, and then there would come a topical test. There we go. Topics to be covered. And we have segregated 16 topics for you, which are directly and indirectly related to your test. And these are possible topics, not necessary topics. There is a world of difference between necessary and possible. When we segregate necessary topics, that may disappoint you somewhere. But when we make possible topics, that is not going to let you down. And you are going to come out victorious from your examination hall. So let me tell you what topical tests are. each topic carries 3 tests, and each test carries 30 MCQs. That means you are going to go through 90 number of MCQs. And once you go through all 90 MCQs effectively, you will be graduated in that particular topic. And this is not only practice. We have brought video solutions for you. If you are confused with any answer, our video solution is a click away. You are going to click, video solution comes onto your screen, and that is going to solve many of your problems. Even if you are still something to be desired, Maqsad instructors always stand by you. They are a click away to solve your problems. So let me introduce the topics. Subject verb agreement. Second, verb tenses. Third, voices. Then conditional sentences. And of course, parts of speech. And I have seen many test takers who are not good at parts of speech, while parts of speech play a very important role in your success. And you are going to come to know as you go by the preparation of it. So we have covered 5 topics here. Now let's move on. Number 6, degrees, positive degree, comparative degree, and of course, superlative degree. 7, sentence structure, common errors, narrations. What we call locally is direct and indirect speeches. And then word power. And you have already known the importance of word power. The better the word power, and the better the result. Synonyms and antonyms. Now, here we go, analogy. Number 12, spot the error. Spot the error, is very important drill. And I don't call it a topic. I call it a complete package. Once you go through spot the error, some people call this detect the error as well. So you are going to get all the topics in this particular topic. And once you are good at spot the error, you will be good at almost all the topics. So you have known the importance of detect the error or spot the error. 13, punctuations, quite complex. 14, forms. This is IBA test specific. It has nothing to do with the test takers of other universities. At number 15, we have clause passages, which we are going to practice. And you are going to open clause passages today. Now, number 16, reading comprehension, short, medium, and large passages. And you have already known the significance of reading comprehension, as the volume of reading comprehension is higher than any component which comes in your test, be it IBA test or LUMS test. So having completed all these 16 topics, there is a big fish to fry. And there comes 6 IBA LUMS pass test. And we would call them grand test. And that is going to wreck your mind. But once you go through all these tests effectively, smartly, and of course seriously, I can give you clean chit that you will be fully ripened to attain your real test. And it will not let you down. So, but your journey is not over here. There are many test takers who perform pretty well in written test, but they find it a lot difficult in interview. There are few questions on the screen, but let me finish this ongoing topic and I'm going to take your queries. So we were talking about interview, and the dynamics of interview and written test, both of them are as different as chalk and cheese. There is a big reason at the back, because the test takers have been practicing their test and examinations right from their primary level, and they have got lots of techniques and, of course, tips and tricks, I beg your pardon, and experiences. So, they overcome succeeding in their written test. But when it comes to interview, because they are not exposed to interview at this early level, so they need to be trained. Here, Maqsad is not going to leave you in the lurch even after your written test is over. We are going to train you fully. We are going to guide you with tips and tricks and, of course, techniques, which will lead you through to your dream university. And once you are there and your dreams come true. Here I get reminded with one of the saying about dream. Dream is not the one which makes you sleep. Dream is one which does not make you sleep. If your dreams do not let you sleep, these are in fact your dreams. So this is a whole program which Maqsad offers to you guys, and by the time your real test take place, you will be fully ripened. You will be fully ready to appear in the test. And we are ready to run on the track. So here, this is all about the programs. And now let's move on to our topic. Today's topic is clause passages. They are very much part of your test. I haven't seen any of your past test which does not carry clause passages. Clause passage involve a chunk of text with words omitted, and you have to fill this gap in order to make sense. And I'm not going to flood you with lots of information, because the more the information, the less the retention. So I'm going to hit the high spots only. Clause test is something which is practiced from primary level to competitive level. That is your level basically. In order to gauge your grammar, especially parts of speech, and I've already hinted that parts of speech are also pretty important, and you are not going to let it go. So they gauge your grammar, especially parts of speech, your word power, of course. You know that how important and significant word power is for every test, whatever test it is. And of course, contextual understanding. Here, contextual understanding means relationships between different parts of the text. You need to connect dots. If you manage to establish relationship from one sentence to another, you are going to develop the idea of the passage. So you need to keep these three elements in your mind and do not forget it at the time of solving clause passages. So these are the key parts of speech, your word power, and contextual understanding. And you need to get all of them together at the same time. So let's practice this. Clause passage 1. We are going to practice two clause passages today. One with options and the other one without options. So you are going to get both of the flavor. So, but before we start this test, let me take your questions. There are few questions I can see on the screen. Yamima, my sister studies from Maqsad app and is now an A grade student. I wish you all the luck. The second question, Irfan Ali, what is the best way to prepare of interview? And we have a full-fledged program for interview. And all the tips and tricks and techniques we are going to give you, and it's a sort of a training for you. And once you apply these tips and tricks and the techniques, and you will be ready to appear in the interview. But I've already told you that there is a world of difference between interview and, of course, written test. Do not mix them up, because at this level, test takers are not exposed to interview. And finally, I hope you would have understood. I am going to bring a full-fledged program for interview. I'm going to give you the tips and tricks, and of course the techniques. And some of the techniques you might not find anywhere else, and that will be worthwhile for you. Now let's go to the next one. Bot fixed. Hi, sir. Hi. Bot fix. Nice topic. Thank you very much. Miss Huma. Bot fix. Hello, beta. No. Now, the questions come to an end. If you have any question, any query, feel free. And we are here to answer your questions. So, we interrupted our close passage. Now, let's get down to our close passage 1. I hope that you have kept all these 3 important points in your mind: parts of speech, word power, and contextual relation from one sentence to another. Let's apply this. Let's go to look at what the instructions are. Write the correct word form from the options given below to fill the spaces. Whenever close passage is offered to you, you must read it and try to build ideas, what the passage is all about, and of course its theme. If you do not understand in one go, there is no harm to read it yet again. When you read it twice, you are going to further develop the area, develop the concept and the ideas, and you will be in a better position to solve it. But it does not mean that you keep on repeating this, because your time takes, and you may take the time of other question. And at the end of the day, you say, oops, and you have nothing but to escape few of the questions. And that would be a disaster for you. So now let's go to read this passage, and then we are going to solve. The Aryans dash about northern Asia and Europe over the wide grasslands. But as their numbers grew and the climate became drier and the land dash, there was no dash food for all of them to eat. Dash, they were forced to move to other parts of the world in search of dash. They spread out all over Europe and dash to India, Persia, and Mesopotamia. I'm going to tell you what Mesopotamia is. I think that actually you might stick to Mesopotamia, what this is. So I'm going to let you know this. Let my reading comes to an end. Thus, we find that nearly all the people of Europe and northern India and Persia and Mesopotamia, although they differ so much dash, each other now are really descended from the same dash, the Aryans. Of course, this was very long ago, and dash, then much has happened and races have got mixed up to a large extent. The Aryans are dash, one great ancestral race of the people of the world today. Here, let me tell you what Mesopotamia is. It's a kind of a civilization and modern day Iraq and Kuwait. Mesopotamia is derived from Greek language, and it means between rivers. So I think this information is enough for you to solve this passage. And when I started reading and the word Aryan came under my reading, my mind connected to Indian history. And as I went along, I developed the ideas, what forced them, what compelled them to come to different parts of the world. What was the reason at the back of it? And then I come to know that these people are still sticking to these different part of the world and making majority. So now this is the idea which I have derived from this close passage. Now let's go to solve it, and let me show you the options. These are the options, and we are going to select the closest one. The Aryans dash about northern Asia and Europe over the wide grasslands. The options are wandered, wondered, worked, and worried. Let's place all the options one by one and see which is the closest one. The closest one will be made final. The Aryans wandered about northern Asia and Europe over the wide grasslands. Wandered about means to go about from one place to another. So it sounds logical. But before I make it final, I'd like to look at option B, option C, and option D for your better understanding. Let's place option B, wandered. That means surprise. Aryan wandered about northern Asia and Europe over the wide grassland. No, they didn't wander. Neither did they surprise. So option B is not the option which we require. Option C, the Aryans worked about northern Asia and Europe over the wide grasslands. No, they did not come for work as well. So we eliminate option C as well. Option D, worried. The Aryans worried about northern Asia and Europe over the wide grasslands. Yes, grammatically it is alright, but conceptually it's incorrect because they were not worried. There was shortage of food and which forced them to go to different part of the world. Here, option D is eliminated also. So here option A is the option which is closest. Now dear, we have some technical problem and we'll be right back. Welcome back. There was technical issue. This is why, this interruption took place. Now we are back. So let's resume where we were. We were, yes, option A, wandered. So the Aryans wandered about northern Asia and Europe over the wide grassland. So let me write wandered here. Wandered. Wandered. Yes. Here. Yes. The Aryans wandered about northern Asia and Europe over the wide grasslands. Let's move on. But as their numbers grew and the climate became drier and the land dash, let's go down to the options at the blank number 2, grassful, green, grassless, and dead. Let's put grassful first. But as their numbers grew and the climate became drier and the land grassful, it doesn't match because when climate becomes drier and hotter, the land becomes grassless rather than grassful. So, grassful is not the option which we require. We eliminate this. Now, let's go to place green. When grassful is not fit, green will not be fit as well, obviously. So, green is crossed up as well. Now, option C, grassless. But as their numbers grew and the climate became drier and the land grassless. Yes, when climate becomes drier or hotter, this is the land which becomes grassless. So grassless is the option which looks to be close. But before I make it final, I'd like to look at option D for your better understanding. So let's go to the option D as dead. But as the numbers grew and the climate became drier and land dead, land does not become dead. Land becomes barren. So option D is not the option which we require. So option D is crossed up as well. So what we are left with is option C. This is called elimination method. There are two methods to solve it: matching method or elimination method. If matching method does not function, so we must switch to elimination method. And at times, both of the methods do not function. So what to do? Can anybody guess? Yes, we have to go for smart guess. We need to narrow down the options and then we find the closest one. The option which is closest, we hit that option. But at times there is a tie. Our mind switch from one side to another, because the difference is pretty subtle between them. So we narrow these options from 4 to 2, because when we have educated guess with 4 options, there is 25% possibility to be correct. But when we narrow it down and we have only 2 options to have a smart guess, so the possibility is 50%. So that is called smart guess. I hope that you would have understood. So let's move on. Here, the correct option is grassless. Let me write grassless. But as their numbers grew and the climate became drier and the land grassless, it fits like a glove. Now let's move on to number 3. There was not dash food for all of them to eat. Let's see the options: full, enough, plenty, grass. Let's place full first. There was not full food. I haven't heard of such phrase. I think it doesn't exist. Of course, it looks awkward. So what we are going to do is to eliminate it. Now, option B is enough. There was not enough food for all of them to eat. Yes, enough sounds logic and it makes a lot of sense, but I'm not going to make it final unless I'm going to go through all the options for your better understanding. Let's retain it and go to other options. Plenty. Plenty of food, but here of is missing. There should be of in between plenty and food. So plenty is not the option. That is correct. Let's hit option D, grass. There was not grass food for all of them to eat. Grass food? No, it sounds awkward as well. It doesn't sound logic. So here, what we are left with, enough. So we tick enough here and write enough in the blank to make sense. There was not enough food for all of them to eat. So I have filled 3 blanks. I'm going to fill 5 blanks, and blank number 6 and blank number 7 you are going to fill yourself. I'm going to give you a little time to do it. So now let me complete 5 blanks first. Let's move on. Dash, they were forced to move to other parts of the world in search of. Here we need to have conjunction. Yes. Option A so, option B as, option C because, option D yet. Let's place so first. So they were forced to move to other parts of the world in search of. Yes, it sounds logic, but I'm not going to make it final. Let's go to other options as well. Perhaps there may be option which is closer than this. As. Let's fit as. As they were forced to move to other parts of the world in search of dash. No, it doesn't fit. So we cross it up and go to because. Because they were forced to move to other parts of the world in search of. No, because does not fit as well. Option D, yet. Yet they were forced. No, it's absolutely incorrect. So here, option D is not the option which we require. So here, option B, C, and D are incorrect. Option A best fits here. Let me write it so. Here, so means as a result. So, as a result, they were forced to move to other parts of the world in search of dash. So, now let's get to the number 5. Riches, money, shelter, food. Let's place riches. Prosperity. They were forced to move to other parts of the world in search of riches. No, they did not come for prosperity. So, we eliminate this. And when option A is incorrect, obviously option B will also be incorrect automatically because they did not move to other areas for money. Next is shelter. They were forced to move to other parts of the world in search of shelter. No, they were not shortage of shelter or accommodation. They were shortage of food because the climate became drier. Here, shelter is not the option. I incorrect this. And now we are left with food. Yes, food makes a lot of sense. Let's read. Yet again, they were forced to move to other parts of the world in search of food. Food is best fitted. Now, what I told you earlier that I'm going to fill only 5 blanks. Blank number 6 and blank number 7. You got to fill yourself. I'm going to give you few seconds because they are not that difficult. And I'm going to ask you whether you have done it or not. Once your time runs short, I'm going to fill them and you are going to match my answer with your answer. Right? Your time starts now. The clock takes. Now make it quick. I guess few of you may hit the right option and few of you still wondering. Yes. 10 seconds has gone past. 10 to go. Make it quick. The clock is ticking. Hello. Yes, your time is up. Let's go to number 6. They spread out all over Europe and dash to India, Persia, and Mesopotamia. Let's go to the option. Gone, came, come, has come. Pretty easy. Option A, option C, and option D, they are not according to grammar. And we need to have past form of the verb because the event occurred in the past and we need to have past form. So here option B is in the past form. whereas option A, option C, and of course option D are not the option according to grammar. So here we are going to fill the gap with can. Now match it with your answer. If you have hit can, you have got 10 out of 10. Now let's move on. Thus, we find that nearly all the people of Europe and northern India and Persia and Mesopotamia, although they differ so much dash each other, it's self-explanatory. I think that you would have solved this even you would go to options. Yes, the right option clicks to my mind. But in order to confirm this, let's go to the options. And if I find the same word in the options, this is 100% correct. Now, let's go find out to, with, on, from. Yes, exactly. So I do not need to look at other options because actually my thought option, actually is lying here. So both of them sync and match. So this is 100% correct. And this one of the technique. Here, option C, option B, and option C are eliminated and we embrace option D here. From. Yes. Although they differ so much from each other now are really descended from the same dash, the Aryans. Here, few of you perhaps struggle. What does descendant mean? This is why I told you earlier that vocabulary is pretty important. If you do not know descendant, you are going to wonder and perhaps you are going to hit the wrong option. Descendant means offspring. Let me make it further easy. Kids or children. Now it has become self-explanatory. Each other now are really descendant from the same dash, the Aryans. Let's go and see the option. What the options are. Friends, family, ancestors, Aryans. There is no mention of friends in the entire passage. So we eliminate friends. Family sounds okay. It looks closer. So we retain it here. Option C, ancestors. Let's read yet again. Each other now are really descendant from the same ancestors, the Aryans. Yes, it's even closer. But we keep this option with us and go to the next option. What is Aryans? Let's try to fit Aryans. If it fits, fine. If it doesn't fit, we are going to eliminate this. Each other now are really descendant from the same Aryans, the Aryans? No, it doesn't fit at all. Yes, option D. Option D is incorrect. So there is a tie between two options, option B and option C. They look to be close. If you look at the passage suggests that the people of Europe, northern India, Persia, and of course Mesopotamia, I beg your pardon, actually this is jawbreaker. So the people of these areas are all originated from the same ancestral group. And if you look at ancestors, the spectrum of ancestors is bigger than family. So here family is close, but of course not close enough. So we cross it up and embrace ancestors. Let's fit ancestor here in the blank. Ancestors. Yes. Let's read in order to link. Each other now are really descendant from the same ancestors, the Aryans. It fits like a glove. There is no question about it. Now let's move on to number 9. Of course, this was very long ago and dash, then much has happened and races have got mixed up to a large extent. Let's go and find what are the options. Are, as, since, till, and none of them. Let's go place as first. Of course, this was very long ago, and as then, no, it looks awkward. It doesn't make sense. So we eliminate this. Let's go to since. Of course, this was very long ago, and since then, much has happened, and races have got mixed up to a large extent. Yes, it sounds logic and it makes sense because since is something which connects your past with present. But we retain it here and go to other options. And if we do not find any option closer to this, and then we are going to come back and place since here. Till. Let's place till. Of course, this was very long ago, and till then much has happened and races. No, it doesn't make sense. It is not according to grammar as well. So we eliminate this and none of them, because actually we have found one closer already since. So option D is irrelevant. Option B best fits. Let's go and fit option B, since. Of course, this was very long ago, and since then much has happened and races have got mixed up to a large extent. Makes a lot of sense. Now let's go to the final blank. The Aryans are dash one great ancestral race of the people of the world today. Let's see what the options are. So, since, therefore, but. So, makes sense. The Aryans are so one great ancestral race of people of the world today. So means as a result. We retain it. It looks to be a bit closer. Let's go to the option B, since. The Aryans are since one great ancestral race of the people of the world today. No, it sounds so awkward too. Let's go to the option C, therefore. Yes, the Aryans are therefore one great ancestral race of the people of the world today. Conjunction, yes, it looks to be even closer than so, but we retain it here too and go to the option D, but. The Aryans are but one great ancestral race of the people of the world today. No, but doesn't fit here. So let's go back and eliminate option D2. Now there is a tie between so and therefore. Both of them are conjunction and they stand at the same place as far as their meanings are concerned. Let me tell you something. When there is a tie between semi-informal word and formal word, we have to go by formal. And when we have informal and formal, so we are going to go by formal one. So here option A is semi-formal. So we eliminate this and take option C. Let's go and write therefore here. Cloze passage 1 is completed. I hope that you would have generated enough idea to solve cloze passages. But your job is not over yet. There is yet another passage without options. And you know, when students know about the cloze passage of without option, they normally get panicked. But if you use your common sense and the same three elements which we have already discussed, so things are not as difficult as test takers think. So now let's go to the cloze passage number 2. Is there any question? No, there is not any important questions. And if there is any, so I'm going to take your questions after this cloze passage 2 comes to an end. So let's see the instructions. Fill in the correct words which make sense. Here's an example using a paragraph from Facebook's privacy policy. You are lucky enough that theme is already given. Site activity information, that is yet another clue. So things are in your favor. Let's read the passage and then fill the blanks accordingly. Site activity information, we keep dash of some of the actions you take on Facebook, such as adding connections, including joining a group, dash adding a friend, creating a dash album, sending a gift, poking another user, indicating you like a post, attending an event, or connecting dash an application. In some cases, dash are also taking an action. Dash you provide information or content, dash us. For example, if you dash a video, in addition to storing the actual content you uploaded, dash might log the fact that dash shared it. So we have got a fair amount of idea what the passage is, as we already knew before we started reading this. And you see, this is the line. Here's an example using a paragraph from Facebook's privacy policy, and that generates a bit of idea. So now let's go to solve this close passage without options. Here you do not have options to place in the blank. Site activity information, we keep dash of some of the actions you take on Facebook. So there is a bit of thought process, and it's not that you read it and the correct option occurs to your mind. There are options closer keep occurring in your mind, and you have to find out the closest one. So we keep dash of some of the actions you take on Facebook. Here we need medium. One of the word is path. Path. We keep path of some of the actions you take on Facebook. And there is yet another one occurring to my mind, that is route. We keep dash of some of the actions you take on Facebook. Oh yes, there is a phrasal verb. We keep track of. You must have read somewhere or heard from somewhere. We keep track of. You know what it means? We keep track of means either follow or monitor. So here, track. And we need to dig out the absolutely correct option here when we have a bit of thought process. So track is the correct option here because it matches. We keep track of some of the actions you take on Facebook. I told you that means either monitor or follow. That fits like a glove. Now let's move. Such as adding connections, including joining a group, dash, adding a friend. Here we need to have conjunction. You remember I told you when I was introducing about parts of speech, how important parts of speech is. Here we need to have conjunction. One of the conjunctions hits to my mind, that is and, including joining a group and adding a friend. Let me think yet another one. Yes, there is yet another one, or. Let me place or first here and then see whether it links or not. Including joining a group or adding a friend. Yes, or sits well with the blank. Creating a dash album. And now words might not come to your mind. What should come here because options are not given. So you are going to use your common sense. Which words normally are used with album? You see, music album and photo album. As this passage has to do with Facebook, photo dominates more than music. So here you need to use a common sense. Your common sense is going to lead you to the right option. So both of them, actually look to be absolutely correct to fill this space. but photo is the option, which fits like a glove. So here we fill it with photo. Creating a photo album, sending a gift, poking another user, indicating you like a post, attending an event, or connecting dash an application. Self-explanatory. Now tell me, which preposition do we use with connect? And many of you get to the right option. We normally use that preposition. Does it come to your mind? Yes, few of you get to the point, and few of you trying to get to the point, perhaps. Yes. Let me tell you this, and you match it with. First, to. We use to with connect. And there is one more word that is even commoner than to. Where? Yes, those who have discovered this, they have got 10 out of 10. Here, either you use to or with, it makes no difference at all. You are going to get full marks. But when you get to the bottom of it, with looks to be better than to. Why? I tell you. We use with for a stronger relationship. This is why with is more suitable than to. So let's fill this blank with. Now let's read it again and find out whether this links or not. Indicating you like a post, attending an event, or connecting with an application. Yes, it sits well with the blank. In some cases, dash are also taking an action. Dash you provide information or content. Here, either we need to have noun or pronoun. You see, parts of speech yet comes into action. It comes into action time and time again when we solve close passage. So how important parts of speech is, and we take it for granted. We think that it is not used. It is very much used, and it shines up your English as well. You are going to minimize your errors as you know more about parts of speeches. Now let's come down to fill the gap. In some cases, dash are also taking an action, either noun or pronoun. But you see here are regular verb. So we cannot use singular noun here. So let's go to pronoun. Are also taking an action. Who will take an action? You will not take action. Facebook management will take action. So here what we are going to write is we. We are also taking an action. Dash, you provide information or content. And here we need conjunction yet again. And now see, which should come. What about if? If you provide information or content. And there is yet another conjunction. Let me tell you this. When. If and when, and there is a tie between if and when. Both of them look accurate. But there is a subtle difference between these two. Although if looks pretty good, but when you know something about when, you think that when is better than if. If is used for condition and when is used for expectation. So here they expect. So the flavor of expectation is more than condition. So here we fill this with when. And now read it. And you are going to have flow. In some cases, we are also taking an action when you provide information or content. Absolutely fine. And it makes a lot of sense. Dash us extremely easy. To us, to him, to them, to her, we need to have preposition. To. Even primary level student is going to fill the blank number 7. Now, even if there is nothing in this blank and our tongue slips to this preposition, we are also taking an action when you provide an information or content to us. Doesn't it fit like a glove? Yes, it does. For example, if you dash a video, and now look for verbs which are normally used with which are normally used with video. Send a video, make a video, delete a video, upload a video, and of course share a video. That is commoner. So what are you going to fit here? You have got plenty of options and you are going to find the best suited one. Yes, you got it right. Perhaps few of you get to the right option, that is share. If you share a video, in addition to storing the actual content you uploaded, dash might log the fact that dash shared it. Here, the verb log, that makes a difference. Vocabulary comes into action. I told you earlier that you need to have above average vocabulary. Here, log means either register or record. And the meaning of log will lead us to the right option. So who is going to register? Of course, the management of Facebook, and that is we. We might log the fact that you shared it. Here, you have got the experiences of clause passage with options and of course without options. You have got the test of both of the flavors and must have generated lots of ideas how to solve clause passages. And I hope that you must not find it a lot difficult to fill clause passages effectively. There are few clause passages, in our topical test. Go solve these passages. When you find it difficult, our video solutions are click away. Click video solutions, and that is going to make you understand everything. And that will clear your concepts as well, as you have had so many concepts cleared today practicing clause passage 1 and clause passage 2. Now, here, this is the time to say bye-bye. Zafar Smile, signing off. Bye-bye.